Hi everyone, this is Tracy Chen, aka Tracy Migration, and today I want to talk about the migration planning levels for this financial year, which is 2022 to 2023. As you know, our financial year runs from the 1st of July to the 30th of June. Since we're coming up to July and the new financial year is about to begin, let's talk about the planning levels and let's see how it's been going this year. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a migration lawyer based in Australia. We have offices in almost every state in Australia. If you need to get in contact with myself or one of our fantastic lawyers and migration agents, I will put our contact details below. You can also find me on Instagram, Tracy_migration, and on TikTok, it is just at Migration Lawyer. What's been really interesting is that this financial year, the migration planning program has been under the Labor government. For myself, I've been an immigration lawyer since 2017, and it's only ever been Liberal since I've been a migration lawyer. This is literally the first year I've experienced it under the Labor government, and it has been so active this year. Like, there has been so much going on, so much changes. Overall, I feel like there's so much more welcoming of new migrants to Australia. With everything that's happened in 2020, we've seen all the media outlets report about how Australia is just screaming for more skilled workers, and that's really reflected in our migration program. But there has been an increase to the program this year. It has been increased to 195,000 places. Now, it seems like a lot, and to be honest, a lot has been filled, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will fill all 195,000 places each financial year. And the idea is that hopefully the migration program will help ease critical workforce shortages in Australia. This is how the program is divided up. So 142,400 places is for skilled shortages in the labor market alone. Now, this does include employer sponsored as well as independent skilled, which we'll go through in a minute. Then there's just 52,500 for family visas. This is mainly partner visas. Then you have your child visas and some parent visas in there as well. Now, you may have heard that the processing time for parent visas, such as a 143 visa, can be over 12 years at the moment. And the reason for that is because of the migration program. There just isn't that many spots allocated to family each year. Then there is the 103 visa, which is the non-contributory parent visa, the one where you don't have to pay an additional $40,000. Processing time for that visa is like 50 years. Actually, I don't even know. I haven't been a migration lawyer long enough to see one of those be processed, any recent ones anyway. I believe I saw one that was processed in about 12 years, but that was lodged in I want to say 2009 or something like that. And that was back in 2009. So imagine what it is now. And again, that comes down to the migration cap each year. There just isn't that many places dedicated for family visas. And of course, they will probably prioritize partner visas. So let's have a look at each visa category and the planning levels. So the first category is the employer-sponsored visa. Now, in 2021 to 2022, last financial year, there was a total of 22,000 spots for this visa. This financial year, 2022 to 2023, there's a total of 35,000 spots for this visa. So clearly, there is a strong encouragement for employer-sponsored visas. In this category, this would include visa subclasses such as the employer-sponsored 186 visa and the skilled regional provisional employer-sponsored visa subclass 494. I believe it comprises mainly these two visa subclasses. So we've seen an increase of 13,000 spots for this visa subclass alone. It is quite big. And this year, we're definitely seeing an increase in processing times for this visa as compared to a couple of years ago. I remember last year, I just got a 186 granted. So last year was 2022, but I had actually lodged the 186 visa back in 2018. So it took like 3.5, almost 4 years just to get the visa granted. But this year, we're probably seeing them being granted in about a year or a little bit longer than that, which is pretty good. 494 visas are a bit faster, I would say, probably because it's still not PR yet, but it will end up being PR as long as you meet the requirements. So, they're taking about 3 to 6 months, but they can take up to 1 year as well, depending on how the application is prepared. Then we have the skilled independent visa. This is the one that everyone everyone is looking to. It is the skilled 189 visa. And all of a sudden over, this last financial year, there's been like a huge spike in invitations for this visa. But we haven't seen an invitation round since December 2022. Everyone is just patiently waiting for another invitation round. And it's hard to say if it's going to happen. I do think there will be one invitation round, but look, I don't know. I don't want to be a fortune teller here, so don't quote me. But yeah, in 2021 to 2022 financial year, there was 6,500 spots for this visa. But this financial year, 2022 to 2023, is 32,100 places for this visa. It's crazy. And I think I have the exact numbers somewhere, but I think in December alone, they invited like 35,000 applicants. So it's more than they have on here, 32,100. But do remember, these planning levels is more for visa grants, not for invitations. And we all know that just because you receive an invitation doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the visa granted. Sometimes people have overcome points and not actually able to use the visa, which is quite sad. For the regional visa, which again I think is the 491, there is 11,200 spots in 2021 financial year, and this year 2022 to 2023 there is 34,000 spots for this visa alone, which is huge. And to be honest, I don't feel like they've invited that many people for 491 visa this year. Maybe there's lots more to be granted this year from people who were invited in the previous year, but I don't feel like this is one of the visas that we've seen a lot of action in this financial year. I've definitely seen more for the 189 and 190 than for the state and territory nominated. Now this should be the 190 visa. So last financial year only 11,200 spots, and this year 31,000 spots. And to be honest, I do feel like there's been lots of invitations issued out and lots of 190 visas granted. So potentially we should see a slowing down of this visa invites this financial year. It's not the end of the world. New financial year is only around the corner in a couple months time, so we can all fight for an invitation then. I won't go through the business innovation and investment one, which is the 188 visa, because that's a completely different ball game itself. But what I do want to mention is for the global talent visa, the GTI, last financial year there was 15,000 spots, and this financial year there is only 5,000. So there's actually a decrease of 10,000 spots there. And you know what? I really think about what happened here. People who apply for GTI are of a very high standard. They are usually people who are CEO and executives and the real innovators and pioneers of their industry. And Australia really marketed this and really pushed for this over the last few years. They're like, yeah, we need more people who are GTI profiles to migrate to Australia. And GTIs are really quick. Like if you meet the criteria, you launch an expression of interest. If you tick all the boxes and more, you'll get an invitation in like a week. And then once you lodge your application and everything's done and you meet all the requirements, I've had some global talent visas granted in 3 weeks. That is how quick it is. But I think Australia has kind of realized that they need normal skilled workers as well. Not just people that are going to come here and innovate. They need people who are going to do the normal jobs, the IT jobs, even like the Uber. Australia needs just workers in general. So that's why I think they've dedicated so much more spots and so much more resources to the other skilled visas. So it's indeed been a very interesting financial year. It's been very happening. Invitation rounds for the biggest states, especially Victoria and New South Wales, have every month or even sometimes 2 times a month. There's been a lot going on. And then with the 189, there was a kind of, I think, one in August, one in October, and one in December. And they were big rounds. So we're talking 10,000 invitations kind of issued at a time. And December, I think I read somewhere, there was up to 35,000 invitations issued in December 2022. So what's going to happen for now until the end of the financial year? Now, if you look at the numbers on the website, and I will post this up on my Instagram, is that, look, there has been a lot of invitations, but there's still some left. There's actually a sizable amount left. So you can still totally go for it. Have a look at the website. For example, Victoria's closing for applications as of the 5th of May. Tasmania Tasmania said they're not closing. We haven't heard anything from South Australia yet, and New South Wales have not said anything either. So just get your application in, it's fine, except for Victoria, obviously, they're definitely closing on the 5th of May. But you know, I still think there's a sizable amount of spots left. Definitely get your applications in. I do think next financial year is just going to be just as good. I'm super excited for it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with people who need it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.